Parental alienation, often abbreviated as PA, is a serious issue affecting families worldwide. It occurs when one parent manipulates a child into rejecting their other parent without any legitimate justification. This manipulation can cause significant emotional harm to both the child and the targeted parent. Unfortunately, there are many misconceptions surrounding PA. Some critics argue that it is not a real phenomenon, but rather a tactic used by abusive parents, particularly fathers, to gain custody. These claims often stem from a misunderstanding of the complex dynamics of family violence. They fail to acknowledge the decades of research supporting the validity of PA. This video will address these misconceptions and highlight the importance of relying on scientific evidence when addressing PA in legal and social contexts. It is crucial to understand that PA is a form of family violence. It damages a child's relationship with a loving and capable parent. PA can have long-lasting negative impacts on the child's emotional and psychological well-being. One of the most persistent myths surrounding PA is that it is a tool used predominantly by abusive fathers to discredit mothers and gain custody of their children. This claim, often amplified by media outlets and advocacy groups, suggests that when mothers raise concerns about abuse, fathers counter-accuse them of PA to silence them and manipulate the courts. However, research has consistently debunked this claim. Studies demonstrate that abuse allegations in PA cases are thoroughly investigated by child protection services, law enforcement, mental health professionals, and the courts. These investigations aim to determine the validity of the abuse claims and the presence of PA. Importantly, research shows that mothers are unlikely to lose custody in cases where fathers are found to be both alienating and abusive. The notion that PA is primarily a tool for abusive fathers is further challenged by research indicating no significant gender difference in who becomes the alienated parent in representative community samples. While some studies suggest that fathers might be more often alienated in trial and appellate cases, this difference is likely due to various factors. These factors include the high cost of legal appeals, potential gender bias in how courts perceive alienating behaviors, and the tendency for women to identify as victims of domestic violence rather than as alienated parents. A recent Canadian study published in the International Journal of Social Welfare provides further evidence debunking the myth that PA claims lead to mothers losing custody to abusive fathers. This study examined a large sample of custody cases and found that findings of PA were relatively uncommon. Even in cases where PA was identified alongside findings of abuse against the father, fathers were not more likely to gain custody. These findings highlight an illusory correlation between PA claims and negative custody outcomes for mothers. The perception that mothers frequently lose custody due to false PA claims is not supported by empirical evidence. Instead, this perception appears to stem from a combination of factors including high conflict cases receiving more attention, the spread of misinformation, and the emotional nature of family court disputes. It is important to note that the Canadian study's findings are consistent with previous research on custody outcomes in PA cases. These studies consistently demonstrate that courts take allegations of abuse and PA seriously and strive to make custody decisions that are in the best interest of the child. The debunking of myths surrounding PA underscores the critical need for evidence-based legislation and policies addressing this issue. Relying on misinformation, anecdotal evidence, or biased narratives can have detrimental consequences for families and children. It is crucial to advocate for family violence legislation grounded in scientific research. Such legislation should recognize PA as a form of family violence that requires intervention and prevention strategies. Additionally, it is essential to challenge the misinformation spread by some media outlets and advocacy groups regarding PA. Protecting families from all forms of abuse, regardless of gender, is paramount. This requires acknowledging the complex dynamics of family violence and basing interventions on sound research and evidence-based practices. By promoting a balanced and informed understanding of PA, we can better support families and ensure the well-being of children affected by this destructive form of family abuse.